Yeah, because I think my colleague Ajuri touched on this in passing with respect to abuse and putting in place proper structures. Take, for instance, the state independent electoral commissions. We all know that when elections are conducted, the ruling party in whichever state usually sweeps the poll. And yet the governors complain that they don't have complete control of security agencies. So you can imagine what happens if they then have control of security agencies there. So what kind of structure do we then need to put in place for the CX to ensure that things go properly?
Well, thank you. You see, that's the issue. Sometimes we just come up with policies that we don't think it through, don't look at the long-term effect, how it's going to work, what are the possible ideas. Because for you to develop a policy, you have to look at the policy, see what is the possible abuses that can come up in the future, and begin to address it in either the legislation or in the policy direction. But we just wake up and somebody comes with an idea and says it's brilliant, then we start implementing it without knowing what could happen, and then begin to, you have to do what we call the devil's advocate and say, look, this is what can happen. Maybe it's not happening there, but it can happen in the future. How do we address it if that happens? So I think that's basically the problem with State Electoral Commission. Because the way it is composed is such that the states just set up a structure and call it a State Electoral Commission. The issue of who becomes member is not even addressed. So any person can be member. And then there's no relationship between the State and the Electoral Commission and the National Electoral Commission. So that's why there's nothing can happen. So there is no control whatsoever. So we need to rejig the State Electoral Commission in such a way that there must be some level of control from yes, we are running a federal system of government. But if you are running a federal system of government, you have to look at their peculiarities and then be able to develop a system that work for you. You don't just adopt a system, wholeheartedly without looking at their own environment. That's part of the problem in Africa. When the white man left, and then we gained our independence, in most countries colonized by the British, we adopted a parliamentary system. Others, a presidential system. Some decided to go for unitary government, some for federal government. So we didn't even look at our own peculiar structures and see whether this thing suits us, and how do we, be able to adopt these well-tested systems in order to be able to operate sufficiently within our own our environment. So that's exactly the problem. So if we are looking at the State Electoral Commission, yes, it's good, because states should be able to conduct the elections. But we have to put structures in place that make sure that it's not being abused. Why don't we put in State Electoral Commission members of the opposition, so that later parties in the state who are participating in elections should be able to have members in that Electoral Commission? It's done in some places, but we just wake up and then we set up a structure and don't care whether it works or not.
Because I think part of what was said at the time in the National Assembly was they were considering whether or not INEC should be the ones to conduct elections in the state, but that didn't pass. But also, this particular matter about state police, it came up in this last amendment, it didn't pass as well. So what if some governors say, well, look, we don't really want this, and they prevail on their state legislature not to pass it? How do you think this will pass? Are you not afraid that, look, it may suffer the same fate this time?
Well, constitutional advancement is a continuum. What does not pass today may pass tomorrow. In 2010, we tried to create some level of independence for our legislators at the state level, the state assemblies, to put their funds as first-line charge, in the state's contingency fund. It didn't pass. We didn't get the required number. Now in 2017, we tried it again, and they got more than the number we needed. And today it's been signed by the president. So that is it. When we started speaking about state police in 2009, 2010, nobody gave it a thought. But when the matter came up in the Senate yesterday and the House of Reps, it had an overwhelming support. So it's a way of building consensus. If it doesn't work, yeah, we keep trying until we realize. But let me assure you that unless we decentralize our police, our security crisis will only continue to increase, multiply, and it get to an alarming situation. So as I said, in the case of the killings in Plateau State, unless we do the correcting, there's going to be more killing and more killings. Okay. So the earlier we realize this and begin to sit down and address the issues, especially our fears regarding decentralized policing, the better for all of us. Otherwise, they're going to get more. Let me give you this example. In year 2010, September 2010, is it year 2000, September 2000, September 10, 2000, I was kidnapped. I was then secretary to the Enugu State government. I was kidnapped by some young men, and then, of course, it was in the evening about 8 p.m. They took me to Anambra throughout that night. It was raining. Eventually, they brought me to Enugu, and then, of course, they took me to Benue. We slept right inside the bush. The next day, they went and robbed the market and all kind of stuff. My experience is that in all these places they took me, we didn't meet one single policeman. Not one. When eventually they wanted to get fuel at 9th Mile the next day, we were there. Some police van came and then fetched fuel and then left. They didn't even knew that I was being kidnapped. So it can't happen in a place where you have a decentralized police, because you don't have police at each point. So it could be a policeman even in that filling station, but there's no such thing. So we don't have the number. The federal government cannot provide sufficient number to police us. It's not possible. So we need to give the states and possibly the local government the opportunity to be able to create a police that suits their own environment. People who understand their language, who are going to be living there until they are dead.
Okay.
A policeman has to be on each street in Nigeria and understand the environment and know when a new person comes in and when somebody is leaving.